Hey athletes, it's Kathleen Oswalt here with Eat Love Triathlon and the Plant Powered Athlete Facebook group. I am super excited to be here with you tonight, or I think everyone's in the evening time. Some of you might be sleeping. We have athletes from all around the world, which is super exciting. But I'm really excited to jump on live and be here with you tonight. I know it's been a little bit of a slow start getting this group going, but we are so thankful for everyone that is in the group and excited about eating more plant foods. So I'll wait just a minute or two to let people get the notifications to jump on. But tonight we are putting together a really nice, well-balanced, healthy athlete breakfast. So I want to know in the comments if you struggle with putting together a really good balanced breakfast that has a nice amount of plant proteins in it. Let me know in the comments. Or I guess if you're doing really well with breakfast and you feel like you're succeeding like a champ, let me know that as well. And let me know where you're from. Like I said, we have athletes from all around the world, and so it'd be really fun to know where you're listening from and share that with the other people that jump on the live tonight. So I'll wait a couple minutes. Again, if you are watching the replay, just let me know in the comments that you watch the replay so I can kind of get an idea of who's on live and how many people need to watch the replay. I'm trying to figure out like what are the best times to jump on live so I can hit a lot of the people in the different time zones. So we'll just have to kind of work with that and see what I can come up with that will kind of, like I said, hit most people when they're awake. All right, so I guess I'll get started. Tonight we are making a breakfast overnight quinoa, and I wanted to do the quinoa because I feel like it's a little bit different. I know that a lot of people already probably do overnight oats, but we're going to combine quinoa and oats in this breakfast and add in some nice plant protein and a little bit of healthy fat so you get a really great balance, and this is going to be great in the morning, especially after a workout. So in my bowl, I have started with a cup of oats, and I'm going to add a cup of quinoa. And I'll talk a little bit more about this after I get it prepped. I want to get it prepped because it has to sit a few minutes and then I can kind of talk to you, and it's hard to multitask and talk at the same time. So again, I've got a cup of oats and a cup of quinoa. I am going to add in 4 tablespoons of chia seeds, and this is going to give it some great fat and plant protein. So I'm going to sprinkle that in my bowl. I am going to add in 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, and I'm sure that you could use this with 100%, this is 100% maple syrup, or I'm sure you could use 100% pure honey and it would be fine as well. Then I'm going to add in a few tablespoons of walnuts, and really you can add in whatever nut you want. I like the taste of walnuts, and this is just going to give it some nice healthy omega-3 fatty acids. I'm going to save some and sprinkle some of those on the top to make it look pretty. And then I am going to add in some plant milk. Plant milk. I was going to say plant protein milk, but plant milk. I've got about 1.5 cups here. And you kind of have to gauge this. You might need 2 cups depending if it thickens up quite a bit. So you can see I've got my bowl here. I'm just kind of mixing it up with this whisk to get those chia seeds mixed in throughout. And the chia seeds are going to gel up and make it nice and thick, and that's what you want. So I'm just going to kind of set this to the side. Let's see. The other thing that you can add in as well is some vanilla extract, and I'm not going to do that tonight because I actually have some unsweetened vanilla pea milk that I want to talk about a little bit. So I'm just going to let that flavor sit with the oats and the quinoa. And I think that's about it. I think I've got everything here, and we'll do the fruit later. So I wanted to talk about the ingredients a little bit. Combining the oats and the quinoa is going to give you some different textures, especially if you're somebody that doesn't really like the texture of quinoa too much. So it'll give you some nice textures, but it's also going to give you a nice punch of plant protein, and it's going to give you some different fibers as well. It's going to give you soluble and insoluble. So it's not only going to help with digestive health with forming stools, but it's also going to help with gut health, lowering your cholesterol, helping kind of maintain your blood sugar and help you feel full longer. So that's super important. I did add the pea milk, and that's something that is new. I typically don't get a flavor, I just get the unsweetened regular, but it was sold out because it was on sale. So I got the unsweetened vanilla because I really wanted to try it. The thing with pea milk that's really important is that it has 8 grams of protein per cup, just as regular milk. So when you're making your oats and your quinoa, if you just want to punch up the protein even more, you would use a pea milk, a soy milk, or now Califia oat milk has a protein oat milk. So you could use one of those 3 instead of just plain almond milk because it doesn't have a lot of protein. So that's something that you could do that would punch up, again, the protein. What else about my ingredients here? We've got the chia seeds and the walnuts. So let me back up a little bit. Let me talk about the carbohydrates, the protein, and the fat. So the carbs are mainly coming from the oatmeal and the quinoa, and of course we're gonna get some carbs from the nuts and the pea milk and the chia seeds, but again, mainly from the quinoa and the oats. And that's mainly where we're getting our protein from too, except I added a plant milk that has a high protein content. And then we'll get a little bit from the chia seeds and a little bit from the walnuts. And then the fat is coming, the healthy fat is coming again from the chia seeds and the walnuts. We're gonna get healthy omega-3 fatty acids, good for the heart. So that's kind of where your balance of your carbs, protein, and fat are coming from. I also wanted to mention that using an array of ingredients, we've got the oatmeal, the quinoa, the chia seeds, the walnuts, we're going to put some fruit in there, we've got the pea milk. It's all giving a variety of nutrients, so lots of different vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. And antioxidants are really important because as an athlete, you are creating a lot of oxidation, you're putting a lot of stress on your body. And so what it does is it forms these things called free radicals, and basically they're unstable molecules in your body that can lead to inflammation and lead to disease. So it's really important that you decrease the oxidation in your body, and you can do that with food. And so lots of these foods that we incorporated into your breakfast are high in antioxidants, and so really important. I do have notes, so let me make sure that I've covered everything. Oh, I did want to say that if you are gluten-free, if you have celiac disease and you have a hard time trying to figure out what to eat, you can get gluten-free oats, and quinoa is gluten-free, so this is an amazing gluten-free breakfast for you, safe for you, and will allow you to feel good afterwards. No flare-ups or anything like that. And one last thing that I wanted to mention is that quinoa, I know some of you have asked about this, quinoa is, well, every plant is a complete protein, basically, but some or a lot of plants have a lot, or just different, I guess, amounts of amino acids, and some are very, very low. But quinoa is a complete protein, and it's very high in all of the amino acids. So if that's something that you're, consider, that you worry about, which I don't think you should, and we'll talk about that in the group, but just know that quinoa has a high amount of all of the amino acids. So again, a great source of protein. Okay, so, oh yeah, let me show you guys. So you can see that this is really thickened up. It was nice and just liquidy before, but it's got a nice thick consistency, and it probably get a little bit thicker. So now what you can do is think about how you want to store your breakfast. And I suggest that, depending on who's eating it in the family and how many versions of this you want for the week, that you maybe even double the recipe. and have, 2 cups of quinoa, 2 cups of oats, and double of all the other ingredients. And then you can have breakfast ready for the week. So one of the things that I suggest is that you have mason jars available, and you can add your breakfast mix to the mason jar, and you can have breakfast ready to go. So it can be eaten cold, it can be eaten at room temperature, and you can warm it up in the microwave, whatever you want. Just know that depending, again, this might thicken even more, so you might need to add a little bit more milk when you go to eat it. So just think about that. Depending on what kind of consistency you like. I like my oats and quinoa to be a little bit thinner than thick, so it's up to you. I'm going to, and one other thing, I'm kind of bouncing around here because I keep thinking about things that I want to share with you guys, but the quinoa did have to be cooked. So I did 1 cup of dry quinoa to 2 cups of water, and that triples in size. So I got 3 cups of cooked quinoa. So the great thing is that, again, you can have a double version of this, or you can have leftover quinoa to use in Buddha bowls, or in tacos, or use in soups and stews, things like that. So it's kind of meal prep for, several different things. Okay. So I'm going to add about a cup. Let's see if I can get this in there without making a mess. I'm going to add about a cup to my jar. Oops, I'm flinging food. I'm going to add about a cup to my jar. And again, I might add a little bit more milk because it is probably going to thicken some more, and I like mine a little bit more thin. So I'll just add it to the top. You don't have to necessarily mix it in. You can just do that when you go to eat it. And again, you could choose whatever you like. We've got some fresh peaches right now here in South Carolina, so you can just go ahead and add your fruit. You can add frozen fruit if that's all you've got. Frozen cherries would be very nice. You could do blueberries. You can do a variety of berries. So I'm just gonna add these to the top here, and maybe add a little bit more walnut. And then, and maybe even before I had put the peaches on, but it doesn't matter because you're gonna mix it in and eat it. You can add other things to it. So if you love coconut, add some shredded coconut. You can add some spices, so maybe some cinnamon or nutmeg or allspice. If you want to sprinkle some ginger in there and give it a little bit of a different flavor, mix and match your spices and your toppings so you're getting different foods and different nutrients and making it a little bit more exciting than just the same thing for breakfast every morning. The other thing is, so I'll probably add a few more things to this, and then I'll just put my lid on it and I'll store it in the refrigerator, and we've got breakfast on the go. The other thing you could do is get probably something a little bit bigger than this, but if you have a glass container or a Tupperware container, you can just pour all of this into your container, and then you can just scoop out whatever serving size you want at a time, add it to your bowl, and eat it for breakfast. So again, this is a great balanced breakfast. I hope this is something that you're interested in making and that can work for you. Again, it's super quick. Once you've got the quinoa cooked, super quick to put together, simple, easy, and nutritious. So if you have any questions or comments, you can leave them below. I will definitely answer anything that comes up. And yeah, it's exciting to be here with you guys. So thank you so much. Have a great night.